Video on.
We are discussing that when a plane polarized light which is passing through some of the crystals or some of the substances like quartz crystal or sugar solution, the plane of polarized light rotates. This phenomena is called optical activity or optical rotation. By using this principle, we can determine the angle of rotation as well as concentration of the liquid when its specific rotation knows. So, some instrument is required to determine the angle of rotation or concentration of the liquid. Such instrument is called polarimeter. So, the polarimeter is used to determine the concentration of the liquid or angle of rotation or maybe specific rotation. We can determine such instrument is polarimeter. So, Lorentz is the name of scientist. He designed one of the polarimeter is called Lorentz half-shade polarimeter. And one more polarimeter which we have to determine the percentage of sugar in a sugarcane juice. Such instrument is called saccharimeter. Saccharimeter is also a polarimeter which is used to determine the percentage of sugar in a sugarcane juice. Now we will discuss this Lorentz half-shade polarimeter. By using this, how can we determine the concentration or angle of rotation? So this half-shade polarimeter contains a monochromatic light source because some light is required. Actually, from this source, light rays will move in all directions. But a parallel beam of light or a narrow beam of light will be required. For this purpose, we have to take a convex lens. What happens when convex lens? Whose convex lens principal focus is focused at source S. The rays coming from the convex lens S is parallel rays. So the convex lens renders the parallel beam from the source of light. This light is incident on the Nicol prism N1. Nicol prism N1. So when this ordinary light which is passing through the Nicol prism N1, the emerging light is plane polarized light. Whether it is plane polarized light or not, to detect that, we want to use one more Nicol prism, that is called analyzer. So one more Nicol prism we is using here. This is Nicol prism N2, whose optic axis is placed normal to the optic axis of N1. This Nicol prism N2 can rotate. This Nicol prism N2 can rotate through its axis which is passing through the N1 and N2 to determine the angle of rotation. So how much angle it is rotates? To measure to the angle of rotation of Nicol prism N2, some instrument is required. For example, in our spectrometer, there is two scales are there. Spectrometer experiment. That is scale V1 and scale V2. So that in the spectrometer, those two scales are used to measure the angle of rotation. Similarly, there is some circular scale is there. Some circular scale is there. By using this circular scale, we can measure the angle of rotation of Nicol prism N2. And from that, there is one telescope is required. That is the telescope to observe the intensity of light. So what will be other additional? There is one half-shade device is placed in between Nicol prism N1 and N2. This is half-shade device. And there is some instrument is placed or maybe some tube is required to fill the sugarcane juice. So there is some tube is used here. In this tube T, glass tube T, sugar cane juice film. Maybe any optically active liquid. Of course, in case our liquid, we are discussing here about the concentration of the sugar solution. So we have taken glass tube T. It is filled with the sugar solution. In which the middle of the tube is more, because any water bubbles or liquid bubbles will move upside. Then there is no obstruction, which is the relative is passing to the liquid. If it is not parallel, it is not center is middle is more diameter, then what happens? These water bubbles may be at the middle. Then these light rays is passing through the water bubbles. Then accuracy reading does not arise. For this purpose, in glass tube T, the central one is whose diameter is bigger to eliminate. This is the instrument of the polarimeter, Lorentz half-shade polarimeter. So how can we determine this angle of rotation by using this instrument? Before that, all these are we know except half-shade device. Because source of light we know, convex lens we know, Nicol prism N1 and N2 we know, and the circular scale we know as per spectrometer and telescope we know. This is only glass tube also we know. Our new concept is half-shade device. What is this importance of this half-shade device? If there is no half-shade device, then what happens? Initially, we will assume that there is no half-shade device, and also there is some liquid is placed in the glass tube. When a light is passing through the Nicol prism N1, the emerging light is plane polarized light. Am I right? Which is passing through the Nicol prism N2. If there is no liquid in this tube, then what happens? Those two optic axes are perpendicular to each other, and N12 and N2 are in cross position. Am I right? If those two are in cross position, is nothing but the intensity is 0. Am I right? If the two Nicol prisms are placed in cross position, it is nothing but optic axes are perpendicular to each other. The intensity came from the Nicol prism N2 is 0. That is, we see the observing as dark. Now, when we fill this glass tube T with the sugar juice, then what happens? The plane of vibration of plane polarized light rotates. Am I right? Then what happens? The intensity is not dark. The intensity is not dark. Actually, what is the importance of this? When we rotate this Nicol prism N2 some angle, when this Nicol prism N2 rotates some angle, what happens? When the intensity should be dark, but in this case, the intensity of the emerging light from the Nicol prism N2 does not dark. Because some of the light which travels or which may be scattered through the liquid, so that the intensity of light which is emerging from the Nicol prism N2 is not dark in all positions, and maybe at some of the region. So the measurement of circular scale is not accurate. So the measurement of circular scale, to be accurate, we will use this half-shade device. So the importance of the half-shade device is the measurement of circular scale is to be accurate. So how can we prepare this half-shade device? Half-shade device is a circular plate, actually semi-circular half plate made by the calcite. This is the optic axis. This is taken as A, B and C. This is semi-circular quartz plate, called half-wave plate also. Half-wave plate is nothing but when a plane polarized light which is passing through this half-wave plate, the phase difference between ordinary and extraordinary ray is pi radian. Our path difference is lambda by 2. That's good. Now it is attached to the one more semicircular plate that is made with the ordinary glass. So that is A, B, C. It is taken as D. So this is I drawn one more. AC along the y-axis, DB along the x-axis. So ACD is made with the ordinary glass. So if any plane polarized light which is passing through ACD does not split into ordinary and extraordinary rays. Now, when the plane polarized light which is coming from the Nicar prism canto is incident on the half shade device along this direction, that is PQ direction, what happens? With this plane polarized light which is coming from the N1 device, N1 crystal is incident on half shade device in which direction? Along PQ direction. If it is making with the AC is along theta, we know this plane polarized light divided into ordinary component and extraordinary component. If ordinary component is along the direction of B, that is maybe it is center OB, extraordinary component which acts along OA. Am I right? Ordinary component is along OB, extraordinary component along OA. But what is the phase difference between ordinary ray and extraordinary ray? Pi radian. In this, because this is a half wave plane. Pi radian is nothing but how many degrees? 180 degrees. That's good. So when it is passing through this crystal, due to the phase difference of 180 degrees, we know the angle here is 180 degrees. The direction of this OB moves along this OD. Now the final position of the ordinary ray is along OD. The position of extraordinary does not change. Did you know? Okay, did you understand? The ordinary ray actually along the OB, but we know the phase difference made by this crystal is 180 degrees. So the final position of the ordinary ray is along OD because it is 180 degrees. So the ordinary ray is along OD and extraordinary is along OA. So the resultant ray is along this direction. May PQ, this may be taken as RS. Now, if we are seeing from the traveling microscope or maybe eyepiece towards the half wave plate or half shade device, if it is along the P, the eyepiece along the direction of PQ, what is happening here? Actually in this position, the resultant ray is along the RS. So the ADC looks like bright. ADC looks like bright because the rays is coming along the RS. And ABC is dark. So half of the device is dark, half of the device is bright. When we rotate this traveling microscope eyepiece along the direction of RS, in which case this is bright, this is dark. Again, half of the plate is dark, half of the plate is bright.
शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत्.
If this traveling microscope along the direction of AC, if the traveling microscope is along the direction of AC, both the parts are equally bright. Both the parts are equally bright. This is the position to take the correct reading of the circular scale. Correct reading of the circular scale. So, how can we calculate the angle of rotation theta? We know the formula for that is S is equal to theta by L into C. L is the length of the tube, large tube. By using meter scale or maybe scale, we can directly measure the length of this tube. That is the length of the liquid. and C, that is the concentration of the liquid. Initially, we have to take a solution whose concentration is already known. Whose concentration is already known. So, E is also known. If theta will be calculated by using this instrument, specific rotation can easily calculate by using this formula. How can it be? So initially what we'll do, there is no solution in this glass tube T. It is nothing but it is empty. It is empty. Now the crosswise in the eyepiece will be concentrated on the half shade device. In which direction? Along AC. Along AC. Then what happens? The both these parts of ABC and ADC are bright. Now you want to take the reading of the circular scale, that is theta 1. Now we will fill the liquid into this glass tube. We will fill the liquid into this glass tube. Then what happens? Actually, it rotates the plane of vibration of plane polarized light. Now again, we'll twist this nickel prism N2. Nickel prism N2 up to the total ABC and ADC, both half wave plates are bright. Up to the nickel prism N2 rotates up to both the half wave plates, that is ABC and ADC, both are bright. If both are bright, then you have to take once again circular reading theta, circular scale reading theta 2. Then the difference between theta 2 and theta will give the angle of rotation theta. So by using this principle, we can determine the specific rotation. For different concentrations of liquids, in the same way we want to calculate theta. Now we will draw a graph. On the x-axis, we have to take concentration C. On the y-axis, we have to take the angle of rotation theta. And what happens? According to this principle, C along the theta is along the y-axis, and it is coming S into L into C. So theta is taken along the y-axis. C along the x-axis, this is M. Y is equal to mx. What is that? This is a straight line which is passing through the R. So it is a straight line will come. By using this, so the slope will give S into L. If the concentration known, theta we can calculate. If theta we know, concentration to be determined. So theta we know by using this principle. So the concentration of the liquid can be calculated theta by L into S. Okay, this is the procedure to calculate the concentration of the sugar solution using this Lorentz half shade polarimeter. Okay, thank you. Okay, last one.